Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Got plenty of interesting stories to go through tonight. I guess we're going to look at some midfield overhauls, going to look at some potential new contracts, talk about Old Trafford, New Trafford, whatever we want to call it, and as well as that, plenty more to get talking about in terms of the rest of the season and, of course, the upcoming transfer windows. So I want to welcome in everyone to the chat so far. Good to see Jarl in there. As always, thanks very much for joining in, buddy. Much appreciated. And I guess we'll get talking about the midfield. Let's get talking about this because I feel like this is an interesting topic at the minute. So I guess the first two stories are going to both feed into this. We're looking at potentially a new defensive-minded midfielder, someone who's going to be highly energetic, bring up the physical level of the midfield, get a lot of tackles in, a lot of duels. Could that be Joao Gomes, someone very much appreciated by Manchester United, according to Fabrizio Romano? Eric Ten Hag is meant to be a fan of him from Wolves this season. He has impressed. And of course, Wolves are an interesting team because last season they found themselves in a spot of financial difficulty. I don't know what the current Wolves financial climate is. I could imagine that it's not really improved too much over the last 12 months. I know the wage bill probably hasn't grown too much. I know they have managed to keep themselves under the profit and sustainability rules, but we would no doubt will find out a lot more in the coming weeks whenever the end of season results are published across the board from most of the clubs. So could we end up going to Wolves for players? I think it's very possible, and I think Gomes is a very good example of a domestic bought player that could come in and make a big difference. And I would put him in a similar pool, perhaps, in terms of the style of signing and in terms of the type of signing, as maybe an Amadou Onana, maybe someone like that who could come in from a lower level Premier League club who might be finding themselves in financial difficulties or under a little bit of pressure, should we say. And this could be a type of deal we do, maybe 45 million pounds, and it probably improves us a lot. Now, as Jarl has correctly pointed out down below, if we're going to have a midfield overhaul, that would mean that our first choice midfield, for the most part, are all going to leave the club. We do need a defensive midfielder, but it is the last thing to get when we need a striker, two defenders, and a left back. I think we need a defensive midfielder very high on the priority list, Jarl, to be honest, but I agree with your shopping list, but I would definitely be putting a number 6 right up there. I think up there with two centre backs, to be honest. That's my order of preference. Probably two centre backs, midfielder would be the 3 nailed on guaranteed signings I'd want. A striker would be lovely, a very nice bonus, and a left back would really round out the squad options that we do have. If we have any extra money going through it on a right winger, that's definitely something that I think we're going to be aiming to do. Now, I guess this brings us on to the next topic, because McTominay is an interesting one. And McTominay is actually the subject of tonight's poll, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Would you guys be giving Scott McTominay a new contract? I put 4 options down there. We got yes, absolutely. We have yes, but as a squad player. We have no, I would sell McTominay, or you're simply unsure. It's an interesting one because I don't think we play our best football with McTominay. I think we play effective football when McTominay is on the pitch. I think he's a guy who comes on here and he'll get us a goal. He's a guy on there who is a real disruptor and pops up in big moments. But I don't think, in terms of the profiling that we've went for this season, that he's really helped the team in terms of what we want to do with control. Now, to be fair to McTominay and to be fair to Manchester United, it doesn't matter who's played in the midfield. We don't have control regardless. It doesn't seem to be our objective. Bourne is down there. McTominay will be giving a new deal. Then Ineos is worse than the Glazers. What kind of nonsense is this? I think they're going to look at it from the point of view that this is our second top goal scorer this season. This is a guy who's probably worth 35-40 million pounds in today's transfer market. You know, you see players like James Ward-Prowse going for like 30 million from a relegated Southampton. You see worse players than McTominay going for about that much as well. So certainly to me, I think McTominay is a sellable asset. Whether we choose to sell him, I don't know. We might choose not to. We might choose to give him this new contract and keep him as part of the squad. I don't think he's going to be a nailed-on starter, guys. I don't think that's going to be his role in the future. And I think the role that he's kind of playing at the minute as an impact player, as a player who comes in for a different option in there, depending on what we want to do in a match, what we're expecting to have in terms of possession. I think that's going to be an interesting one. Jarl says, Scotty has been one of the best players this season, so he most likely will get a new contract. Chatsport said, what is his current contract? I believe his current contract is out in about a year's time. I think it's at the end of the 2025 season, so that will be about 12 months. So you do want to start to have these conversations, get the groundwork laid down pretty early for this. And I think United's still unsure. And as per Fabrizio Romano's current update on said contract for McTominay, he basically said it could go either way. Look, this could go either way for Scott McTominay. It's one of those. United don't have the plan to sell him, but if a big offer does come in, or if a really interesting offer does come in, it would be something that they would consider. And I think that's the right. Um, I do feel like that's the correct sort of um attitude to have to it. His exact words are United are more than happy to keep Scott McTominay as a squad option. However, an important offer could still be listened to by Manchester United. So I think that's just about right. I wouldn't put McTominay down as a guy I want to see start every week, but I think he's a guy who can offer us something different, give us a goal threat from the bench, work hard for the team. I don't think he's an exceptional player by any stretch of the imagination in terms of his technical ability, but you can't really put a price on the goals he scored for us this season, and arguably we would be having a much worse season as well. Without that, Jarl says he's on 60k. If they give Scotty 120k, I would be against it. But if it's a 70 to 80k contract, go for it. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Chat Sports said can't see him getting more than 2 years extra. Yeah, I think a 3-year deal seems likely. I think McTominay's 26 or 27 now, so they'll probably take that deal and run it up to until he's about 30 or something, maybe, and then you start to look at it again. I don't know. I think I do think this is the season where if he's going to go, it will be this summer because we're going to have a big overhaul. We're going to be changing a lot of things, and you could see McTominay move on this summer. And I think that's highlighted in what Romano has said, in that we could have a situation where he ends up going if a good offer comes in. What will that good offer be? What will it look like? I don't know. It could be 30 million from West Ham. It could be 35 million from Everton or Newcastle or anything like that. That can be done. I guess we'll find out on that one. It's an interesting thought to have, but when you're already looking at Casemiro likely going, Christian Eriksen likely going, Hannibal probably going to go, McTominay could go as well. You're looking maybe at 4 midfielders there already. You got Donny van de Beek who will come back from his field loan at Eintracht Frankfurt, and you would expect that he will be moved on at some point as well. So you're looking maybe 5 or 6 midfielders leaving the club in this summer. And what will that mean for the overall complexion of it? That's why I think we're going to have a bit of an overhaul. That's why I think we're going to be moving towards a different system in the midfield and a different selection of players. Some players will be kept. Mount will be kept. Bruno, Manu. I think McTominay will personally be kept, but I'm not too sure if a big offer came in that we wouldn't take it. But definitely, it's going to be a lot of change in the middle of the pitch. There will be a lot of change in the centre back areas as well, and I think that's where you're going to see the most amount of change: centre half and in that midfield area. If we get it right, the level of this team will jump up dramatically. Make no mistake about it, guys. Now, I have Bourne down there. We need to have a plan A on the pitch and on the bench. All big clubs like Real, Barca, or City don't have players who will make them change the way they play. Yeah, look, that's true. That's true, but it's one of those. It's an interesting one because whilst you can argue McTominay does change the way we play, it usually tends to get us a goal on the pitch in key moments, and I think that's important. I do. Um, Chat Sports says I like McTominay. If you know what he offers, yeah, I think the current profiling of Scott McTominay is just about correct. I think it's just about right. I think that's fair enough. He's a guy who crashes into the box. He'll pop up with a goal. He'll get a flick on, or he'll just end up in the right position in the penalty box, score a goal. He did that against Liverpool. He's done it several times this season. I think he's got like 10 or 11 goals in all competitions. So it's no mistake, or it's no coincidence to me that we would be looking at a deal for him potentially. Now, Bourne is saying, sorry, I've seen Bourne's comment as well there. But yeah, look, it's an interesting thought. And we do have some other midfielders we want to get talking about as well, guys. I'll not just talk about McTominay with this here one. So some of the names that were listed by Fabrizio Romano today, and players to look out for. We got Ederson from Atalanta. You got Tejan Koopmeiners as well from Atalanta. We're apparently fans of both players as well. Adrian Rabiot is up there as well. Joao Gomes, Amadou Onana are all players we're being linked to. So it's clear the type of midfielder we want to go to, even within that list as well, between Rabiot and Gomez, Onana, and Coop Miners, you do have very different players there as well. Some of them are more box to box, some of them are more goal threats, and some of them are more number sixes in a traditional sense. So I'm not too sure what the option's going to be there. I think in terms of what we need from a personal level, it's got to be that number six profile. It's got to be someone putting a lot of tackles in. It's got to be someone raising the physical flooring of the team up. So as much as I like Coop Miners, for instance, as much as I think Rabiot is a pretty good player, as much as I um, do like the thought of some of the other players listed there, I think we need to have a more defensive minded prospect, someone who's going to do a lot of legwork, screen that back line, and I think that's going to be key for this team. And it lets us get Manu into his best position. It will let us get Bruno into his best position, and for me, that's just a no-brainer, to be honest. So that's what I think the midfield overhaul could look like. We do have some other interesting stories. A position that Jarl flagged as well as left back. Now, we do have an update from Romano as well on that left back position. United will be looking to sign a young and important left back, with Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia's struggles being an issue for the club. It is thought United don't want to spend a lot of money on the left back position, so they are more than likely going to go for a younger option in that area. So I kind of get it. But I mean, we do have Harry Amas coming through, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about the level of player we're going to be signing here in this left back position. It could end up being more of a Malacia type signing. It could end up being more of an Alex Telles type signing rather than someone who's going to come in and be a long term starter every single week. That's just my prediction looking at it. I might be wrong. We might go for someone else, and it might be a big purchase this left back area, but I just can't see it. I just can't see it. Now, it would make sense. I know a lot of people have been talking about Ignacio from Sporting Lisbon. You got up there a player who's very comfortable as centre half and very comfortable at left back. You could nail two positions with one player as a cover. I mean, I like Ignacio, but he's not my preference. But certainly, those were options that we could go with as well. I got loads of comments coming in. I've got Steph down there as well. Big ups to you, Steph. Thanks for joining in. Much appreciated. And guys, big ups and 14 likes as well. Drop a like if you haven't already. And let me know your thoughts on that poll. What do you guys think? What would you like to see happen with Scott McTominay? Would it be a new contract? Would it be a contract on the same kind of terms? Like, look, Scott, you're most likely going to be a squad player at best here. You'll be an impact sub, someone who comes on when we need a different option, or someone who we can turn to in a big match, maybe to add some more physicality to the midfield? Or do you look to cash your chips in this summer and go, look, he's coming off probably the best season of his career, goal scoring wise. We could probably move him on for about £40 million, completely and completely guaranteed profit in the FFP, and that would give us £40 million extra to spend. Obviously, youth academy graduates do not end up counting as a liability with your FFP. There's no deductions to take out of it, so it is an interesting one, and McTominay certainly is a sellable asset at the moment. So I think it's an interesting call. I would like to know what you guys think on that one. If you want to get your thoughts on the poll, or even drop a comment as well. I'll run through a couple of other stories I would like to talk about, because seemingly from an interview with Fabrizio Romano, we see a lot of our players and a lot of the target areas that we've kind of been talking about and speculating on for the last while as well. United have spoke to Jeremy Frimpong's representatives. This took place before the previous World Cup. They give the impression he was open to a move. He would like to play Premier League football. I like Frimpong, but he's not a right back. Make no mistake about it. He is not a right back, and he would get caught out defensively in that position. Like he's a very good wing back. He's basically playing as a winger at times for Bayer Leverkusen. And if you brought him in and put him on the right flank, that might be a decent option. But certainly for me, he's not a right back. Just doesn't have the defensive acumen for it for me. I guess when we're talking as well, we'll get talking about strikers. Something we do need as well, goals in this team. And with Martial finally going to leave the club in the summer, you would imagine contracts about to run out in the next couple of months. We've seen this already with David De Gea. Last year, I can see it happening again this year with Martial, probably with Varane as well. So United would like a striker to compete with Rasmus Højlund and play at the level. They want an important name, not just on the pitch, but for the squad as a whole as well. They're still having internal discussions over the exact profile of striker, whether to go for a younger option or go for an older striker with more experience. Some players here are popping up, for instance, are Toney. I wouldn't be against Toney as a player. I'm not too sure as in terms of personality. Like, I'm not a fan of these interviews he's been doing at the minute, constantly saying how much he wants to play for Real Madrid and leave Brentford. I don't know, just not for me. Maybe that's not the sort of stuff I want to see coming from my strikers. But each to one's own. Now, I've got comments below. Born, why does Ten Hag seem to be obsessed with Rabiot? I think he just likes the profile, buddy. I really do. I think that seems to be what he likes in the player. He seems to like that style of profile. I mean, he's not a bad player, Rabiot. He wouldn't be my cup of tea. He's not the type of player I want to see sign for us. I think he's fantastically talented, but I think he got a lot of baggage with him as well. So maybe not the right signing, in my opinion. I guess in terms of other players, yeah, I mean, we are seeing us going after the same names time and time again. And we've gone after Rabiot a few times, to be honest, guys, but I don't know. I just can't see it, to be honest. I really can't. Let me see. Chat Sport, I keep McTominay. He plays like Nicky Potter, John O'Shander, Fergie. Veghorst scored the other night. Yeah, he did. Hello to Bard as well. McTominay could learn could fetch interest from the lower and bottom half of the Premier League. He could do. Like, make no mistake, he could do. Steph says, I'm selling McTominay. He's on reasonable wages and a squad player, and not surprised if he stays as well. Bart says United need their sellable assets as the rebuild requires a lot of money. Maguire would also be a good option, as with Wan-Bissaka, but remember that each team needs to have a required number of Brits. Yes, that's true. That is true. It's an interesting one anyway, because players like Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire make sense to offload if possible, because we're still paying them off. It would actually cost more money in terms of our financial fair play stuff to keep Harry Maguire as it would do to sign Raphael Varane to a new contract, because Varane is fully paid off, and that purchase is no longer outstanding. So I think we've got to work it out from their point of view. I think, we have to be smart with it, budget correctly. I've no doubt we'll spend a lot of money, but we need a lot of money spent on this team, and that money will only go so far. And if we're going for 5 or 6 players that summer, then £200 million, 250, whatever it's going to be, is going to quickly disappear. We're quickly going to spend through that money unless we're smart with it and manage to balance it out with some important sales. Now, Chatsport would like 50 million for McTominay. Bar said Højlund needs a breather and some competition. Toney would be insanely expensive. The striker market is small and each quality option would be expensive. Yeah, strikers are always expensive. They're always going to fetch money. Goals are so important in a team, and maybe that's why we would look at keeping Scott McTominay. I'm not too sure what kind of profile we're going for. Is it going to be a younger player? If it's going to be younger, I mean, Sesko's an option. Xerxes definitely an option. If it's going to be an older striker, I'm not too sure. I mean, there's talk of Lewandowski leaving Barcelona. Is that something we do? I don't know. I doubt that happens, to be honest. But you're right. The striker market is fairly slim pickings at this current moment in time. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna go massive on a striker whenever we really need centre backs, midfielders as well. It's all gonna come down, I guess, to cost analysis. What do we need? What can we do without for now? Because unfortunately, as much as I would like to say we can do all this in one window, we can't. This is going to be a multi-window job. This is not going to be a simple 2 or 3 month fix. This is going to be a big job, guys. Really big job. Anyway, Steph says we're up to 15 likes. Yes, guys, big ups for the likes so far. Keep dropping the likes as well if you can. Bart says, get good characters and not just football players. Does Avram exert an influence on footballing matters or transfers? Not anymore, thankfully. There was, of course, very famous Glazer stories. One of the most famous, of course, being that Joel Glazer famously did not listen to Jose Mourinho's instructions to sell Anthony Martial, because Joel Glazer thought Anthony Martial would be the quote-unquote next Pele. That was an interesting one there from the chairman. I'm sure Mourinho was loving that there, and being told that he was wrong on Martial's A, attitude, and B, availability levels by Joel Glazer, who thought that Anthony Martial would turn into the next Pele. Interesting one. Anyway, Steph says Murda is obsessed with Rabiot's mom. Maybe it's just like he's trying to score a date with her or something. He's just like popping here, there, and everywhere. I mean, he's been some man for it. Like, John Murda has got many free holidays out of this football club. I'm talking twice to Barcelona, to Turin twice, to Saudi Arabia a couple of times as well, all without turning up any results. But he's enjoyed his holidays. He's caught a couple of res. He's had a couple of beers on the beach, and he's enjoyed himself. And fair play to John for all that. Bourne said if McTominay was half good, top 4 clubs in Europe would be fighting for his signature. We need to move on from mediocrity. I just think, like, as an option, he gives us something. I don't think he's a starter to me. If if he's one of the subs most weeks, I have no problem with it. I do think we lose stuff when he comes off. I do think we gain stuff when he comes on. It's a trade-off. It always is. Let me see. Bart says people talk whether Eric will concede control of transfers. Well, I see it as Eric is an employee on a work permit in the UK. United sponsor it. They hold all the aces. Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you there, Bart, as well. He has to take the reduction. It's Ineos are not coming in appointing Dan Ashworth, appointing Jason Wilcox, appointing Omar Barada to tell all those really qualified people who they want to run the club in their style, in their way, that they have to limit their power and do exactly what Eric Ten Hag says. They're not going to do that. They're not going to give that amount of control to just one person. It's unfortunate if you're Eric Ten Hag, because to him it must seem like a demotion. It must seem like a downgrade, where he has had this control and it's been given to him and afforded to him by the club. Now to be told that he's no longer got it, that has been a frustration for him. But I just can't see Ineos running it any other way. I just can't see us modernizing as a club until we do these and take these steps. I think it's very important that we do this. Anyway, Steph is down there. Good to see him. Bart says, my question about Avram was something significantly different. Who signs the check? Is it Jim or Avram or Joel? Oh, I'm not too sure, buddy. I mean, it will come down as Manchester United, to be fair. The club has always been run from its own profits, its own revenue, and its own income. It's never really been Glazer money pumped into the club. Now, I'm sure they've signed off and stuff, being the chairmans, etc., but I'm not too sure how the current makeup is going to affect it. Hopefully it won't be a long-term thing. We got the Glazer family out pretty soon. I hope so. I think I missed a comment from Bart as well, listing off some strikers at some point. Taremi, David, Boniface, or Farias. I think Taremi's going to Inter. I think Jonathan David probably isn't at the level needed. I think Boniface is very good, but a very expensive signing. And I'm not too familiar with Farias at all, to be honest, buddy. Bart says, would Dennis Undav be a good signing? He's cheap, versatile, extremely well for Stuttgart. If he scores in Euros, people would hike the price. He's also got an older head, so good foil. I mean, maybe. I remember him struggling. I think was it Brighton he was at before? I don't know if I can see it, to be honest. Like Undav was at Leicester. Was it Leicester Chatsworth? I can't remember, but I thought it was Brighton. I don't know, maybe I'm getting Mope and Undav confused. I'm not too sure. I mean, maybe we should just sign Neil Mope for the just for the banter like that. That could be a fun one, like just to rub people up the wrong way. But maybe we miss some characters like that. Big up to Luman as well. Thanks for joining in, buddy. Luman says, Bart is my oh dear. Anyway, guys, we got loads of votes on that poll as well. I got 25 at the minute, so 33% would keep McTominay, give him a new deal. Absolutely. There's only 8% of people said yes, but I would want it to be as a squad player. 52% would look to cash in on McTominay in this upcoming window, and 8% are unsure about their decision. Bart said he was at Brighton, but left after a lack of game time. There we go. And yeah, wasn't too far wrong. Guys, big ups on 19 likes as well. Much appreciated. Been a pretty quiet stream on the YouTube front. They love to do this to us sometimes. It's always on a Monday. So we got 20 likes out of 28 views. So much appreciated, guys. All that support as well. I do believe I'm going to be on the agenda a fair bit this week as well. So make sure to tune in for that there. I think Bath Time's not feeling the best, so I've agreed to do a couple of extra shows with those guys and help them out. So I'll be looking forward to that one. I've got 27 votes on our poll as well now, guys. Most people are saying they would sell McTominay, to be fair. I think looking at it from a profit point of view, it does make sense. If you want a big rebuild, an extra £40 million coming in would really help. And I would expect some big sales this summer. I expect Greenwood to be sold. I think Sancho will be sold. I think Casemiro will be sold. I think you could see Maguire sold. You might see McTominay sold, and that starts to raise up some interesting questions about how much money we can actually go out there and spend. Because I think our spend is already something like we can have 180 million pounds, so we could spend that much plus whatever we raise from sales. Hopefully, over 100 million pounds or so. Ideally, you would look for maybe 120. I don't know if we're going with 300 million pounds summer. I mean, it could be a nice thought. It could make for an interesting summer of streams because we'd be buying a lot of players, but I don't know. Jasport said bit out, a bit out there, but got a young Wisa from Brentford. I actually don't mind Wisa. I think he's a hard-working player. I'm not too convinced about the technical level. I think he scored quite a few goals in the season, man. Not a bad player, and he works very, very hard for that team. So I mean, there's probably worse shouts out there. To be fair, I'm not too sure what the options are. I'm really not. I can see us going versatile, to be honest. Um, I really could see us going for a versatile forward. It's I think Xerxes could be a really good option. I just really do. And I think he would link up really well with Hoyland as well. And he's a different profile. I think that's what I like as well. You want to see different profiles in there. You don't want every player to be the exact same. If you have people who can offer different things on the pitch, that's always going to be a good thing, in my opinion. I guess we'll move on real quick as well to another story, and we'll talk about Old Trafford, or New Trafford, should we say. So obviously, this has been a long rumbling story for the last couple of weeks. Potential of Ineos coming in and building a new stadium. This has been talked about for a while. Do I think it's going to happen? I think it's looking more likely. I do think it's looking a lot more likely than it was before. And I think out of all the options, a new stadium on the same ground in the same area would make a lot of sense. And I think I could get a lot of people probably happier with the happier with the move and to part with Old Trafford, obviously. I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Like, I'm really not. It'll be a massive expense regardless. But the talk is at the minute we want to have the biggest stadium in all the land, or even in all of Europe. 100,000 to 115,000 is the current capacity being talked about, banded about in the media. Now, I'm seeing some sort of talk. I don't know if people are able to confirm with this, but someone told me we can't have 100,000 seater stadium because it's not allowed to be bigger than Wembley Stadium. I think that just doesn't sound right to me. Like, I can't see the FA having the ability to step in and tell United to remove seats because Wembley's not going to be as big. Like, I just can't see it. But I think when you're talking about a Wembley of the North, somewhere that can host these major finals, somewhere that can bring a lot of money into the football club and really change what the football fan culture could be at Old Trafford, I think it's a massive change. I do think it's a massive change. And ideally, you want to get to that point where it's going to be paying for itself, kind of like how Spurs Stadium does. Spurs Stadium, they have a profit on it every single week, and that there's a match week, and that's helping to pay off the stadium as they go along. So I think that's going to be the aim. It's going to be how we balance that sort of stuff. Now, I have some comments coming in, guys. Bard is down there. Don't sign more than 4 in a window. Integration takes time. Sign early, ideally before pre-season. Don't be reactionary. Give them time to bed in. Maximize the January window. I agree. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Steph says 21 likes, 100k Old Trafford, and Dark Crow said, how can Ratcliffe stop it? I missed that. A new comment as well from Emmanuel saying we need a strong defensive midfielder plus a good young creative midfielder. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I think those would be priority positions. Maybe creative midfielder could be left for another season if we choose to go with Bruno and Mount again. Obviously we haven't had much out of Mount all season, but I think you're looking likely at a good big transfer window this year. I think 5 or 6 players is most realistic. I know you don't want to bring too many players in at once. I would like to think we can get deals done in June and early July. Ideally, you want to have all the windows, all your window done by about mid-July, because it's going to be a later season this year with the European Championships. Obviously, the Olympic Games might cause some disruption as well to football in July and August. So you've kind of got that period where you'd want the players you've brought in and your own squad as well to be there during the pre-season. Now, let me just quickly double check because I wanted to have a look at what dates the Euros are on. Normally it's June. Normally it is June, but let me just get exact dates, and I'll kind of come up with a timeline of what you would like to aim for. Ideally, we've got our list down pretty much now, although we haven't got official reports or anything coming in from too many journalists or anything in regards to the manager. I would imagine they're close to making their decision on Erik ten Hag's future, whether they're going to change manager or stick with what they've got. Um, it looks like European Championships is going to be early June, starting on the 14th, and then it looks like the final provisionally is set to be, what's that? The 14th of July. That's actually quite a late tournament, isn't it? That's a very late tournament, 14th of July. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be an interesting preseason for sure. That'll only give the players about a week or two off, really. I'm not too sure how preseason's going to work this year, but it'll be an interesting one anyway. So it's why I don't know if we're going to go for Nagelsmann, for instance, who could be a potential managerial candidate, because they're going to look at it from the point of view, right, if Germany go the whole way, then you're talking mid-July for your manager coming in. That's not ideal. And we've got 23 likes, guys. Thanks for that. Daniel is on there. Is McTominay going to win you the league? If no, sell him. See, I think, yeah, you can make that argument. I don't think McTominay should be a starter for the club. I think as a bench option, as a super sub, as an impact player, I think he's not a bad option to have. And I think you would struggle to bring someone in for cheap who would give you some of the tools McTominay would do. But I don't know if we're going to go for him anyway. Now, what have I got? Born, Ratcliffe talks too much with less actions, needs to fix a mess on the field before planning new whatever Trafford. Yeah, I mean, he's only been here a couple of weeks. I'm going to give him the benefit of time, and I think they're going to be working on a lot of things at once. It won't just be Ratcliffe focusing on tasks by himself. It's going to be an entire team, an entire structure, and the entire club pulling in one direction, which will be a big change for us. Chat Sport pulling you for CDM. I think he gives us the physicality and the tackles and stuff that I would like to see in the middle of the pitch. I just don't think he's good enough on the ball. That's just my personal opinion. Bart's talking about Bolt. Did I miss something, guys? Did I miss something about Usain Bolt? I'm kind of confused. I don't know. Must have missed something there. Bart said, tell Mino and Garnacho to set out the Euros and the Olympics. If they don't rest, they'll have a slow start breakdown. People can call them overrated for one season wonder. Yeah, look, I want to see them all get a nice rest. I want to see them all get a nice chill out time. That's what I want, and so they can come back and get ready for that. Bart says Ten Hag's contract expires at the end of next season. Let him be there until December and see if he does well. Yeah, I mean, I guess they've kind of got like a free trial of Erik ten Hag if they want it, and they might take that point of view. They've got him for they could keep him for another season, give him a year underneath their structure and their vision, and see how he does. And if it starts to work out and starts to pay dividends, maybe they do offer him a contract. They would hold all the power in that situation for sure. Latata is on there. Is it fine for a player to say no to a national team? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I know you'll always get people banging on about national pride and all this, but I think you have to be realistic. Players are always going to pull out of the squads about this time of the year. You've seen lots of Arsenal players pull out of squads, England and Brazil and stuff, because they're going for a Champions League. They're going for a Premier League. They don't want to get injured playing in a friendly match at Wembley Stadium when they're already going to be in the squad. Like, Declan Rice can pull out of the squad tomorrow. He's going to captain the England side against Belgium, but he could pull out and still easily make the European Championship squads because he's Declan Rice. If you're Conor Gallagher, if you're Cole Palmer, maybe then you've got more of a reason to stay and fight and be really determined to get in there. But Bukayo Saka pulling out, for instance, I don't really know if I believe that. I mean, Bukayo Saka will be on that plane going to the European Championships, providing he's fit. So as long as he's fit, he will be going, and I think that's the point of view a lot of those players will take anyway. Rashad McTominay, his average does nothing. He scores goals. I think that's important. Does give us something. And look, I haven't always been the biggest fan of McTominay this season. You guys know this, but he does give us something perhaps we need. Neves is good at tackling. We're talking Joao Neves. Yeah, I mean, I like Joao Neves, but you're talking £100 million for the player. Like, it's a lot of money. It would be fantastic, but it's a lot of money. Let me see. Rajat, if they get burnout, that's not good. And did I miss another comment there from Bart? He has some good attributes, and some where his ability leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah, that's true. I think that's fair. I think his on-ball quality is pretty bad. I don't think he's an exceptional passer. I think he's a physical player. He gets up and down the pitch, he puts tackles in, and he scores goals. Don't ask him to sit in the number 6 position and spray passes about like he's Paul Scholes, but he can have his use. Everyone has their use. Rashad said, did Garnacho get a call up to the Argentine team? He did, yes, he did quite well against El Salvador. I think he played for the second half. Had a lot of good dribbles, a lot of good carries and stuff as well. It's actually something I want to see more of Garnacho is just carry the ball as well because he's so good at it. But if he did it more often, he would be even better, I think. Anyway, some other interesting stories, I guess, will flag to you guys for your attention. Bart says Joao Neves will not leave this summer unless he stars in the Euros and someone comes in with an Enzo bid. Yeah, I think he's got £100 million buyout clause. I think they'll probably take that there if they get it. Like, but I can't see us spending a third of our budget on a midfielder whenever we actually need more than that as well. So I think it's about smart strategies. Hopefully the people far more qualified than me to talk about this and make these kind of calls will be thinking the same, but let's just wait and find out. It could be an interesting one for sure, though. Make no mistake about it, guys. Guys, big ups on 24 likes. Let's see if we can hit 25 or even 30 as well. Would be really appreciated. We've got 22 people in the stream. Make sure vote on that poll if you haven't already. Let me check the results. So far, 35 votes. 34% would say yes, give McTominay a new deal. A further 11% would say yes, but keep him as a squad player. 47% would say no, I would sell McTominay. And 6% are unsure as well. Rashad said Benfica could negotiate under clauses. Not much, but could get him for 90 million euros. They might be okay. Depends. It depends. Do I think Manu going to the Euros will hinder his growth? I remember it happened to Rashford and the rest of his history. He now thinks he's Pele. I don't think it's a result of going to the national team. I mean, he's under a lot of scrutiny at the minute for getting in there in the first place. I think it's ridiculous anyway, guys. You know, you're seeing like Joey Barton and absolute clowns like that online saying Harvey Elliott should be in the squad because they don't play in the same position. Like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, Harvey Elliott is competing against Foden and Saka and Maddison. Manu's competing against Jordan Henderson and Calvin Phillips for those kind of deeper midfield positions. It's not the same. You wouldn't get angry at Jordan Pickford being picked for the squad and Dominic Solanke being left out because one's a goalkeeper and one's a striker. Nothing to do with each other. Anyway, I would prefer he doesn't go, to be honest. And the reason I say that is because I just think he'll be better suited with a break. I don't know. Rashad's asking about Kone from Mönchengladbach. I'm honestly not as familiar with Kone as I should be. And I think that's the problem, to be honest, guys. Like, I don't get to watch a lot of Bundesliga. I don't know. I just never really watch it. I think it's just the times and stuff. It's just the times because I watch United maybe on like a Sunday, and there always seems to be Serie A matches on pretty late at night. So I'll watch more Serie A. That's why I'll be more familiar with like Bologna and what Motta's doing there, and some of their players, Inter Milan, of course, Juventus, SC. I haven't really watched a lot of Bundesliga because those matches tend to take place earlier in the day. Anyway, I have Bart down there. What are we talking about? Liverpool's also City. Yeah, sorry, I missed that. Rosette, sorry, Kona, Chasport, Bowen, Gordon, Palmer, Toney. Go for me, maybe. Bart said, "Is Kone Lamine Kone?" It'll be Kone from Mönchengladbach. I'm not too sure on first names here. I think that's what Rajat's talking about. Bart is saying, "London is London after all for me. In Canada, it's only Toronto." Yeah, I mean it's true. Like location will factor into it. Make no mistake about it. And the reason I say that is because our top level players going to want to go live in Newcastle, which is very working class, which mightn't be as attractive as a city as say London or something. Like that will factor into it. That will factor into it absolutely. And you will get cases of that. When Di Maria and his family came to Manchester United, they hated the city of Manchester. They thought it was a horrible place to live, and they didn't stay there. I have comments as well. Rajat, how long is Maguire out injured for? 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not too sure, buddy. I think it's going to be a while. But we'll have to get scans and stuff back as well. On that one, Ten Hag is the cost of his problems. Number one, he's using some players in the wrong position. When a player is underperforming in a current position, you can just give them a special training for a new post. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think misusing and misprofiling his players has been a problem. I mean, for me, Bruno Fernandes is playing far too deep in the pitch. Put him as close to the goal as you can. You get a lot more out of Bruno. Give him a free role. Play Manu a little bit deeper. You get more out of him because that's where he excels in the first and second phases. So yeah, I think misprofiling players has been a theme throughout. Bart says one thing we have over Manchester is we have those 6 Champions League and European Cups that attract players a lot more than you may think. I mean, yeah, look, factor into it, like, but it does only go so far. You're not going to see players turning down Arsenal to go sign for Aston Villa or Nottingham Forest because of European Cups. Like, it will only go so far. But I think the main things is competitiveness now, and maybe in the last couple of years, players have been more willing to go to Liverpool because that's a team that could go on and win a Premier League or a Champions League the season you sign. Whereas United have always, for the last 10 years, have been a working project, a team 2 or 3 years away from winning a big trophy. Rashad said, why is Southgate rushing players back like Maguire, who came back versus Poole in that FA Cup match? Yeah, that's true. I don't get it either, man. Like, I just don't rate Southgate as a manager. I'm glad that those links to United have been rubbished a little bit. I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Maybe rival fans do, but certainly not me. I don't think Southgate would be my preference whatsoever, and I'm sure you guys think the same. Bart's position nowadays is misleading. Top clubs have fluid positions, and team needs to focus on systems, depth, and number of profiles per position. Yeah, they do. Absolutely. Within the Premier League and within most of the top leagues, we've had a lot of what we would call hegemonic clubs, and City have been a hegemonic club. For the last 10 years, it has always been a case in the Premier League of which team is going to challenge City. But City are always the team that you have to beat to win the league. Same goes in Spain. It's Barcelona some years, it will be Real Madrid at other times. Bayern Munich are the hegemon of German football. If you beat Bayern Munich, you win the Bundesliga. Same thing has went in Serie A in the last 10 years, maybe not so in the last couple of years specifically, but over the last 10, 15 years of what we would call contemporary football, if you beat Juventus, you normally go on to win that league. Same goes for PSG in France. If you beat PSG, you finish above them, you will lift the French league, and that's kind of the way it's gone for the longest part. So yeah, football is fluid. It's about systems, about what you can get out of it. Players now, a lot of them, I think as a whole, you're maybe lacking on versatility and players who can thrive in every system. Very few players can do it. So systems are a massive thing in football. If you're a creative winger and you're a player who thrives off the unexpected and that kind of role, maybe going to Man City's maybe not the best bet for you on a personal level. If you want to go win trophies, yeah, you can. If you want to go and have your game style change, you can do that there. But if you want to get the ball and run at people and make mistakes and be okay, then maybe there are other clubs out there. If you are a top level striker, you might not look at a City and say, look, they got Holland. Like, there's no guarantee of matches here as well. It's interesting. Emmanuel, I love this channel. Well done. More followers, more likes. Yeah, thanks very much, buddy. Much appreciated. Really do like all the support from you guys. But yeah, like, it's interesting. Even I think it was Tifo did an interesting little video about logics. Like, normally what you'll get in football will be supply and demands. And you would imagine in most cases, the best players will be the highest in demand and they'll have the most choice of clubs to go to, but they actually have the lowest amount of clubs to go to. And it's interesting because Harry Kane had one option last year, and Harry Kane is arguably the best or most complete striker in world football. And he has been for the last 5 or 6 years. His only option was Bayern Munich, a team in transition that wasn't maybe necessarily the best mood for him, but he had to go. it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. It does go against the conventions of market economics that we do see. I mean, you comment as well from Kagambe Benson, greeting from Mahara um, Katet. Apologies, I'm very bad. I'm very bad with names, but thank you very much for joining in, buddy. Greetings to you as well. Much appreciated. Um, what have I got? Bart is down there. I've seen that in the last decade. Atletico Madrid have had some very good centre mids. United need to see where they do their scouting. Yeah, but a lot of those players are home developed. You know, Sel, Niguez, Koke, both homegrown players. I'm pretty sure that Gabi before that, homegrown player as well. Obviously Marcus Llorente came from Real Madrid, so a lot of them are coming from the Madrid area. Really, I don't know, maybe something in the water there, but certain clubs do attract certain players. Now, look, an interesting one I want to get talking to you guys about, and a lot of people are calling this smart business. We're looking at Argentina. We're looking at South America for players. And yeah, I think we've got to tap into all those markets. You know, it's really important that we do that. Really important that we do that there. Now, there's a centre half we're apparently looking at from Boca Juniors. Let me see if I can pull them up. I'm sure probably Bart knows who I'm talking about. Man, he is a knowledgeable man. Let me see. United are scouting loads of South American talents. No agreement has been made with Boca Juniors centre back Aaron Anselmino, but he is someone they have followed extensively. So there was talk that we might go in for this young player, sign him, and loan him out to Europe to develop. To me, that screams of a player that's going to end up on loan at Nice. To be honest, I don't know if this is going to be part of our plan in future. I really don't. I don't know if our plan is going to be like to sign these young players and loan them out to Nice because we got that link. It could be a smart move. I don't know though. What have I got? Was that Bart Kamir Ted assistant? Maybe. That as well. We need someone like Vert, but his past injuries concern me. He's kind of come back from that big injury, to be fair. So I wouldn't be too against signing Florian Wirtz. Am I going to order a Chinese today? No Chinese today. Who's a good underrated young left back we can get? I mean, I really want Gutierrez from Girona. Got Sean Forsyth down there in the name from Billy from Moneyball. If we play like the Yankees in there, we lose to the Yankees out there. Fair enough. Fair enough, mate. Anyway, Bart is saying, I thought buying humans was against the UN Convention of Human Rights. Oh dear. There's always one of them. There's always one of them a stream. Anyway, guys, in terms of that poll, 41 votes on it. 32% are saying yeah, they would absolutely give McTominay a new deal. 17% are saying yeah, but as a squad player. So that's pretty much 49% all in giving McTominay a new deal. 46% would say no, they would sell him, and 5% would also say they're unsure. The Crow is down there. Is that Mourinho in Bart's profile? Steph says 25 likes and 41 votes. Yeah, guys, drop a like if you can. Would be much appreciated. I'll have a quick check as well for some of these other stories I wanted to touch on today anyway. Yeah, actually, yeah, guys, thanks very much for 25 likes as well. Much appreciated. I think we only got like 90 views as well. Mondays are always quiet on the channel regardless, like, unless we have like a watch along or something, but it is what it is. We do it anyway. Was there something else? Let me see. Yeah, there was. Sorry. Yeah. So whenever we were talking strikers earlier, I guess one thing that's popping up is Ivan Toney. This is a name that Romano linked today. Apparently, we appreciate Toney. I'm sure we do because, you know, we look at it. He's a Premier League proven player. Scored a lot of goals playing for Brentford of all teams. So the thought could be, what could he do at a top level club where he would get more opportunities? I don't know. I guess United don't really create an awful lot of opportunities. He might get much more service, to be honest. Bar designer, the Boca player that I had my eyes on was Valentin Barkov, great running left back that made a place for himself in the Libertadores final, and he's only 19. Brighton are now on him. Yeah, I think they got him as well. Dark Rose says McTominay is paid too less compared to other players. Should we talk about salary? Yeah, salaries are important as well. What about Patrick from Bologna or Genoa? He's 19. Who's this we're talking about, Rajat? I don't know. Patrick? Am I missing someone here? I'll just Google Patrick Seria to see who it is, maybe. Um, I don't know though. Like, I mean, I'm seeing people saying that Patrick Schick could be an interesting option if you wanted a more experienced striker. I don't know. Like, not a bad player, Patrick Schick. Like, and probably would score goals for us. Um, let me see. Have you got sorry, Rashad, have you got a surname for me about Patrick? Missing this here one. Anyway, he's a young left back. If you got a surname, like, I'll check him out for sure. Rashad, what's the most we can get for Shaw? 32 million. I don't know if we'll get that much. I mean, Shaw's a fantastically talented player, but I mean, clubs will look at the injury record, at the age, at the wage as well, and all that will come into consideration. Like, these are things we don't normally think about, but Sean says take a tenner on Toney United. He's probably already done it anyway. Yeah, he probably has, to be fair. Gotta respect the hustle. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll never really understand a Premier League footballer having to put money on for bets and stuff. Bartis, their salary is important, but structure the deal better. Don't make a player the highest paid in his league immediately. Yeah, I mean, that's very important. I think if you want to lesson in how to not structure deals, don't do what Chelsea have done. Chelsea basically, as we know, have amortized all the transfer fees, basically paying them off in Klarna, and they've kind of spent their yearly revenues ahead of time anyway. So they got to sell players unless they go breaking more loopholes. But it's one of those. It's like, at a point, Bowley and Chelsea will probably think in for a penny, in for a pound. If we're gonna get done for breaking the rules over a couple million, we may as well just get done for breaking a couple 100 million. I don't know. That's their thought positions. Bart said, "Is it Patrick Catrone?" I don't think it's Catrone. I think he's a little bit older than that. I don't really think he's a left back either. I'm gonna have to find out who this is. It's annoying me. Let me see. Patrick. Area. Let me see. Bart, is it Patrick Dorgu? Is it? He is a left back for Lace. Is that who we're talking about? Is it the Lace left back? Let me know if it is. I'll have to check him out in some more detail. I'm not too familiar, unfortunately. I wish it was. But I mean, yeah, like most of my Serie A watching will come from Bologna or the Milan clubs, or probably Juventus a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know. Atalanta is always a good watch. To be fair, like, they got some good players, some good attacking players. What's my plan for Easter? I think we're just gonna have a couple of days. A couple of days off as well. Like, I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I mean, yeah, I'll probably do some content on the channel, maybe do a watch along for the Brentford match. But yeah, I mean, I think that might be about it, really. Like, not going to have too much planned, I don't think. But that's it. All right, that's it. Probably, yeah. I think it is. It's the only left back called Patrick I can see in Serie A. He seems to play for Lecce, so um, maybe that's who we're talking about. Yeah, I'll definitely have a look into him, because I think I'll have a look at potential left back options for a video, because there's not really too many top quality left backs out there in the price range we would want, in that sort of young profile as well, like we seem to be after for that position. You could be looking at someone like that. Maybe you're looking at Gutierrez from Girona. Maybe you're looking at Aït from Wolves as well. Lots of good options out there. Lots of good options in that left back area. It just depends what we want from that position. Do we want someone like Dallo, who will do those rotations in and out of possession? Sean said, is Xerxes from Bologna? Yeah, Joshua Xerxes from Bologna. Having a very good season there. Really, I'm a big fan. I don't know if we're going to sign him necessarily, because I think he's a little bit on the young side as well. He struggled at Bayern Munich for game time and stuff. Really came into his own at Bologna. It's one of those deals. It's, if you want to sign him, I feel like now is when you need to do it. Because I feel like another season for Bologna, or if you go somewhere else in Serie A, you could be looking at it. But sorry, Jasper said, what about Cunha? I like Cunha. I think Cunha could have been a good signing for us last year. I think we were linked to him at one point. Bart said, Aaron Hickey, isn't he good? But do sell Malacia first. I don't know if Malacia is sellable anymore, mate, to be honest. And I think that's just because of this injury. Um, I think Hayden Hackney could be an interesting buy for Middlesbrough if we want to go down the Championship route. Like, but there are good players down there. Make no mistake about it. Um, Rajad United have to make a list part and left them out for convenience. Born Real Madrid sold Morata when he's on fire. City loan Cancelo. Liverpool sold Coutinho. United are afraid of selling some players, like the fridge and the Russian soldier. We could do. Rajad said, "Are we looking at Neto?" I'm sure we're looking at it, but he concerns me. Like, he does concern me. 4 consecutive years in the Premier League, he will not finish on 20 matches, and that's a frustration. You know, 20 appearances even in the Premier League, and yeah, fantastically talented player, but that level of injury proneness just isn't good. Resented. What's my thoughts about Robbie? I don't mind Robbie. I mean, I think he works hard. Like, I don't know if I want another player from Ajax and all the connotations that are going to go along with that. I don't know. To be honest with you, Bart says, should United go for Archie Gray? Archie Gray is fantastic, man. He really is. I don't know if you get him out of Leeds, like, because obviously Leeds through and through. I don't know if he'll make the jump to United, but it could be an interesting one. It could be. What did Robinson? Yeah, I mean, Anthony Robinson would be a very good left back. Playing really well for Fulham. Got a real engine on him. Get something down the pitch, and could be a really good shot. That's a good one, to be fair. Look, guys, I think I'm gonna leave the stream here because I'm gonna head off to the gym now anyway. So much appreciated, guys, for everyone joining in tonight. It should be live again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Make sure to stay tuned for that there one. Have a good Tuesday, guys. Have a good Monday night as well, whatever you guys are doing. And I'll catch everyone in the next one.